So lastly, let's look at the pages that are in the account section. We've got an account detail, we've got an account row, company detail, and company row. These bottom two we actually looked at the beginning in the first video. The company detail is where you edit your image and name from the upper left corner here on the dashboard. If you click on your image and name, it'll pull up that company detail and you can edit them. And the row, the company row, is what's actually displayed in this section here. So if you remember, this is a grid list that is just pulling one row, which is company name, and it's pulling that from the database. The company detail view is just to edit the icon and the name. So it works very similar to all these other views, the detail views that we've looked at before. Got an image uploader and a text input for name. And there's an event on this that on change is going to autosave. And then on the data binding, you can see that it's automatically pulling in the company name. So if we go and look at this autosave, this is calling the autosave flow, which again is default. It comes standard with all these pages in Builder, and it's just telling it to autosave when you change this value in company name. And that way we can just hit close when we're done. And then system message, it'll pop down a message, which is this message here, system message up above our page. It'll pop that down into view and say company info has been saved. So on the account detail section, you can see that we've got a heading that's called account detail, and then again an image uploader and a name, and this is for your personal account. So this image uploader is to upload your profile pic, and then the name is for the name of your user. If we look at the data bindings for this, this is bound to the current user and their name, and then the same for the current user and the profile picture. And again, in this view, we have a autosave event whenever this value is changed. And this account row is what is displayed here in the nav right above the sign out on the left-hand side. So it's just the picture and the name for the logged in user that gets displayed there. And that's how that is set up. So that gives you a good idea of how each of these pages are laid out and what the sort of structure of this template is like when you get it out of the box. Again, it's ready to use when you start. It saves a lot of time. So let's talk about how you could customize this. The components that are here are pretty standard to any SaaS app, especially the login, the front end website, the login and registration, the authentication, having a navigation, some type of dashboard or landing page inside of your app, and then the account piece of it. So, a company account or a user profile, those are very standard. The parts that will probably change depending on what type of SaaS app you're building would be customers, tasks, and team members. Those are sort of here for you as an example. But if you think about how these are set up, this structure could be used for pretty much any type of data records that you want to store. So maybe instead of customers, tasks, and team members, you have invoices, and you want to be able to store a list of invoices in your SaaS app, and each invoice has its own detail. But you still want to be able to view the invoices in detail. You'd still want to be able to add new invoices. You still want to be able to archive certain invoices and hide them from the table view. So this type of structure still works. It could be a list of images, or it could be a list of messages that are posted in a social app. There's a lot of different ways you could utilize this structure, and just customize it to your needs. From a sort of UI and design standpoint, obviously we've kept this very vanilla. Um, you can basically add your design on top of this. The only thing that you would really change at the start is the font. And just as a reminder, we do have a font that's added here by default, Quicksand, that you see being used. But you could load in your font, switch these styles to use your font, and then add all the rest of your styling. So you could add colors, you could add different, headings. You could add different color profiles for active buttons versus disabled buttons. You could add background images. You could replace these images that we have sort of as defaults, and really add your own style around it and keep all of the functional aspects of this. One thing that I encourage you to do when you first use this template is to try changing some of these. Go into some of these pages, go into some of the actions and flows, and try changing things using different actions than the default ones that the template comes with. That's a great way to learn, sort of, trial and error. And it's a template. You can always reload it into a new project, so you don't have to worry about breaking anything. Go ahead and change whatever you want, see how it works or how it breaks after you make your changes. And again, if you ever wanted to get back to this clean, fresh template, all you do is start a new project and pick this as your template to load it into. So I think that that's pretty cool that you kind of always have this to go back to. There's also, when you think about the data collection and the data structure, I think it's good to go through this and get a good understanding for how these are set up. I talked about the statuses in one of the videos, and if you click into here, you can see the statuses that this template comes with by default. Again, statuses are something that are common to SaaS apps. You'll probably use some type of status in every SaaS app, but maybe you don't need these statuses specifically. These are ones that we're using for tasks. So there's accepted, problem, on hold, canceled, completed. Again, you might change these to be statuses for your invoices. And so you might want paid, sent, pending, those types of statuses. But looking through these data collections and looking at the data that comes with the template is a good way to understand how all of this works. So I think that's those are the main things I wanted to cover with this template. As always, let us know in Discord if there are questions that you have about how to use the SaaS Starter template, and if there are specific things that you'd like us to cover in future videos, definitely let us know in Discord as well. I hope this was helpful for you, and I will catch you in the next one.